Welcome Between the Whistles, Detroit. I'm your host, Joe Chap, and we are talking Detroit Lions football again. Jameson Williams' dad spoke about the media criticism that his son is getting. And he said, quote unquote, he signed up for this. Can I just say for 1 minute, I love that because it just proves to you that his parents are legitimately parents. Because a lot of times in this whole spectrum of life, when you have a D1 athlete, you know how many athletes come into the college football, NFL, and they're total divas. They're not raised right. They don't really know like the real reality of the situation. So when Jameson Williams' dad said that, that just showed me everything about how Jameson Williams was raised. He signed up for this. He signed up for this. And then Jameson later says, I don't take nothing by it. That tells me a lot about the kid. Period. Because you know when if you grew up around athletes, if you grew up around players that were going to higher tiers, whether it's college or whatever, a lot of times those players are never told no, and a lot of times what happens is those players ultimately their arrogance becomes their downfall. Now Jameson Williams made a mistake with the gambling situation. We all know that, and he was hurt last year, so it's a little bit of a rough time for him. But if you look at the way he was raised, and you look at the way his dad spoke to M Live, you see that, and you go, man, this kid is just being raised the right way. Because when you look at that, like you have to be excited. James Williams, which is his dad, he says, what comes with great praise, it's going to come with greater criticism, and that just goes along with the game. Not everyone's going to love you, not everyone's going to hate you. So I mean, we're not really tripping off that. And he said, I mean, the media is going to be the media. The media has the job to do, and that's understandable. So it's got to be something good, or it's got to be something bad. And listen, I've done a lot of work on Detroit Lions series. And I know sometimes when we put bad stuff out there about Jameson Williams, people get a little bit upset. And it's not really intentional. Like we're not trying to do it intentional, because I want the best for the kid. I mean, he sounds, and he just the way he acts, he seems like a great kid. He just seems a little, shy. He likes to play the game of football, and that's what Nick Saban said when we drafted him. So the major thing I take out of this is that when you hear his dad talk, and you hear his dad speak the way he spoke, and that, like, look, they got a job to do, he got the job to do, we ain't tripping off of it. It tells me that Jameson Williams is raised the right way. It tells me that Jameson Williams' dad raised him the right way. You know, if you got kids, if you praise them too much, they probably act like asshats. And if you just give them a kick in the ass, sometimes it clicks. Like sometimes when you give them that little kick in the ass, they just start to be better. They start to get better grades. They start doing better in sports, all that. We don't have enough parents in the world. We don't have enough parents in the world. So when Jameson Williams' dad says the things that he says, that tells me more that I need to know about the guy who raised Jameson Williams and the woman who raised Jameson Williams. That look, we ain't gonna be tripping off this. This ain't nothing new. Like if they got a job to do, he's got a job to do, and ultimately, if he does good stuff, they say good stuff. If he does bad stuff, they say bad stuff. That's the way it works. And I wish more people in the world could take advice from James Williams, because what he just said is one of the best things that you could say about your kid. You don't cover for him. You don't say that he's doing a great job and he's a great kid, because we know Jameson Williams is a great kid. He had that great camp at Chandler Park, and what a great day it seemed to be for Jameson Williams and those kids. They probably loved it. But James Williams saying what he said It showed me a lot of how Jameson Williams was raised. And if I was someone who was kind of down on Jameson Williams, all I have to do is look at how his parents spoke, how his dad spoke to the media, and I'm going, this kid was raised the right way. He was raised the right way to be the best that he could be, and he doesn't care about what the media says, and that's how it has to be in life. You know, a lot of people in the world nowadays, they want to go on this tangent where, you know, everybody's nice to everybody and everyone's going to be your best friend and no one's going to be mean in the world and no one's going to be a bully. That's bullshit. It's never going to happen. So when I hear James Williams say the things that he said, I love it because listen, it tells me a lot about how Jameson Williams was raised, number one. Number two, that's something that you carry for the rest of your life. You just don't get rid of it. And you can tell by the way Jameson Williams acts and the way he talks to the media, that's the way he was raised. And if there's anything you can take away from this video, take away this. To be a parent, you have to be a freaking parent. There's not enough parents in the world, they want to be best friends to their kids. We see it all the time across sports. And when I see a kid like James Williams who's had troubles with, you know, the gambling suspension, he had injury history, and I see his dad talking the way he talked, I know that that kid is raised the right way. I know that what Jameson Williams' dad is saying is going to marinate with his kid. And that is the reason I'm excited about the kid. I think that tells you more about that kid than you can ever know. You just talk to the dad and mom. Because I've talked to general managers before. I've talked to people that, you know, work in the pro personnel. And they have told me over and over again. One GM in particular. He said, look, all I got to do is talk to their mom or dad. And I know right away what kind of kid I'm going to get. You know, there was a college coach I was talking to, and it's a very prestigious school for business, and he's a head coach. And I asked him, like, how do you really determine who's going to be a kid that's going to be, you know, is going to be a culture fit in your locker room, in your program, in the university? And he literally looked at me and said, the parents. So if you're a parent out there, or you're going to be a parent out there, just remember and take lessons from what James Williams said about Jameson. He could have said, yeah, he's been getting the raw deal. But no. He said, no. This is what happens. This is what you signed up for. And this is what happens with the way it goes. So, if you're a Detroit Lions fan and you were on the fence about Jameson Williams, be happy about that. That's a really good sign that he was raised the right way with James Williams. I'm Joe Chapp of Between the Whistles Detroit, and we will see you in the next video.